met in old New York.
I'm telling you right now, if you don't make these everything bagels, I don't know what to do with you. These are the best.
They
aren't
are.
They?
I can't wait.
They're everything bagels with.
It's with veggie cream cheese. Amazing, delicious. Don't miss out.
Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Shaylin and we're cooking with the Robinsons. We make everyday meals for our family and friends so that you can have some ideas for yours. So today we're doing an everything bagel, New York style, with veggie cream cheese. I cannot wait. So as you can see here, we have our yeast that has activated. Now what I did for this is I went ahead and added some yeast to some water. Now on that water, you're gonna wanna make sure on this instant yeast that water is at 120 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if it gets too hot, you're gonna kill the yeast, so don't do that. But go ahead and add that, stir it in. I also stirred in some sugar, set it aside for 10 minutes, and it is perfect and ready. So what we're gonna do is add this to our flour. Now, the flour that you're gonna wanna use is this bread flour. It's very important that you use this bread flour. You could use regular flour, but if you want that really good New York style, just chewy kind of bagel, this is the flour that you're gonna want. So go ahead and add that yeast and that water and that sugar mixture in with that flour, and you're just gonna stir it up a bit. I also have some salt that I'm adding to the mixture as well. And as always, look below for the measurements and ingredients that we're having so that you can duplicate it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this up, and this is a process, but let me tell you, it is a really fun party trick. I mean, who does not love everything bagels? And I'll tell you, when I was younger, and what really turned me on to everything bagels was I had a really good friend named Hud, and I lived in Houston, a suburb of Houston. And basically, I would go to her house, and she had these amazing bagels that we would have every morning, and you put it in the toaster oven and put some schmear on it. And I said, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I was probably in 3rd grade, had never had it before. And she just totally got me onto it. So we're doing my favorite, which I often go to at my favorite bagel shop, and it's everything bagels. So I've tried this in my mixer, and you can do that. However, I've just noticed it's much easier if I just do it by hand. And what you're gonna wanna do is put it on a board and just lightly flour that board. And you're gonna wanna just really knead it for a long time. The only bad part about doing it by hand is you're gonna have to knead it for a lot longer than you would had you been with your mixer. But that's okay. It's gonna come out wonderful. And also I've noticed when I put it in my mixer, sometimes that mixer gets top heavy and goes back and forth quite a bit, and it's just easier to do by hand. So those of y'all, as you can see, it's a little tacky, a little more tacky than I'd like. So if that's the case, go ahead and just add a little bit more flour to your cutting board and make sure and roll that dough into your flour and continue to knead it. Now kneading, all you're doing is you're putting the bread or the dough on top of each other, rolling it out and going back. And this is really the technique you do. Now, again, it'll probably take about 10 to 15 minutes, but let me take you back to a little childhood story when I'm talking about HUD. I will never forget. Now, my family was the type of family that we would not have anything until after everybody else has had it. Like microwaves, are you kidding me? Ataris, are you kidding me? And so I remember spending the night at HUD, and Hadar was her sister, and we would spend the night at their house and we'd have so much fun. And I was so excited because they had an Atari with the joystick. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. You younger folks might not, but I really learned how to play some mean Miss Pac-Man, and to this day, that's my game. My boys love gaming and they have all kinds of fun games, and I don't even know what to do anymore with if it's not an Atari joystick. So all right, this is it. I'm going to continue to do this for another 10 to 15 minutes until we get the right consistency. All right, so I finished kneading the bread, and look at this. This is a great consistency. It looks perfect. So what we're gonna do next is I'm just taking some olive oil and I'm gonna lightly put it on the bottom of this bowl, kind of mix it around a little bit, and it'll help once I put my dough in there. You're gonna wanna do this because what we're gonna do now is put this dough in this bowl, and it's basically we want it to rise. And so in order to do that, I'm just gonna kind of mix up that oil so that it gets along the sides and the edges of that bowl. And even though I look like I'm going up pretty high, I'm gonna wanna do that because as it rises, you don't want it to stick to the sides. So I have a very, technical technique on how to let dough rise. I always cover it with a damp rag, and then I put it in my utility room. I turn out the light and then I turn on the dryer. So that's what I'm gonna do for the next hour, and we'll come back and talk about next steps.
Okay, so I've got the veggie cream cheese department covered. Shaylin's doing all the heavy lifting today, but this is gonna be awesome. We have 2 bricks of some Philadelphia cream cheese in here, full on, not light, the good stuff. And we went by our local farmer's market this weekend as well and picked up some giant carrots and red and green bell peppers, chives, green onions, and lots of good stuff to put into this veggie cream cheese mix. So we had a good time there. Dan's Fresh and Local, is it called,
Yep.
that we go to?
Yep, love it.
And they always have good stuff for us when we go there. So the simplest thing I'm doing is I've already chopped some of these up today, and you want to use a fine dice. And the reason you want to use a fine dice is because you don't want like green bell peppers in your teeth in the middle of eating your bagel. But you want a good fine dice. See that dice in there, Shaylin?
Yes, I do.
Was that embarrassing?
Yeah.
So anyway, I've chopped it up pretty good. So I'm gonna add that to that cream cheese mixture. I like to get those red bell peppers in there really good because it gives some good color to it as well. And then I've got some simple salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And I'm gonna add this in there. And basically, by the way, you want that cream cheese to be left at room temperature for several hours, or you're gonna be just killing yourself and eating all this stuff. But look at this, Shaylin. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna mix this together, and I'll just keep mixing this until it's well blended, until it's well blended, and it's gonna be delicious, and we'll put this on our bagels once we've got them all ready.
So our dough is done, and let's take a peek, Sean. Oh, that's perfect. See how it rose just perfectly. Wonderful. So what you're gonna do is go ahead and roll it out. Now you wanna do this on a non-floured surface. So you'll see I'm just gonna use my stone that I have right here. And it's really no big deal. I'm gonna kind of roll it out to make kind of a log. And what I'm doing now is just basically gonna cut it into 8 bagels. And it's not really a science. I guess you could measure it out perfectly, but I'm just gonna do it by eye here. That's about half the dough, right? And we wanna do 8 of them. So we'll cut these in halves. And that's the perfection of cooking from scratch, right? They're not all perfect. It's not all wonderful. All right, so you're gonna take one of these, and there's a technique to this. Again, you wanna make sure that your surface does not have flour on it. And basically what you do is you just kind of bowl your hand, and you just roll it like this, and you allow that dough to make just a circle. That's what you do, see? In the bottom, you might have this little, you can continue to do it, and you might have a little seam at the bottom. That's okay. It's not a big deal. It's gonna all rise once it gets in the oven as well. But that's perfect right there. And then I'm gonna show you how to do this one, and then I'm gonna do it for the rest of them. But in order to get that hole in the middle, I like to start out just with a little utensil and getting to the bottom, and then obviously you wanna stretch that out quite a bit. And if you want to get some of that flour in your fingers, and all you're going to do is you're just going to stretch it out. Just roll it out like this. And you'll probably want it about an inch probably no more than 1 inch in diameter on that. So that's right there. That's perfect right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I have this on a, I use some olive oil on the bottom of this pan, and I'm gonna do this same process to all of this dough right here, and then we're gonna do some egg wash, and then we're gonna have the everything bagel, all the yummy stuff that goes on top of it in just a minute. Next step, you're gonna wanna have some boiling water. Once it gets to a boil, you're gonna wanna turn it down, just simmer, and go ahead and get those beautiful bagels, put it in your water, and you can go ahead and put multiple ones in your water, not a problem. Just make sure and don't stack them on top of each other. And they'll just float there, float around, and you do it for about 1 to 2 minutes. The chewier you like and the harder that you like that bread, you do it for a longer amount of time. I like about 1 minute on each side. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna set my buzzer for 1 minute, and I'm gonna flip them here after 1 minute, and after the 2nd minute, I'm gonna put them aside and finish the rest of my bagels. It's time for the toppings. So you can do whatever you'd like on your everything bagel. If you like to have poppy seed, you can do just that, or if you want to have a whole hodgepodge mixture of all different kinds of things, which is my preference, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to do a dump here. I have some sesame seeds, and I like to use it in one of these pans because you'll see how I like to generously put them on all of them. And then also some minced garlic, and we have some minced onions as well. And we have some poppy seeds. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and not put all that I have in there, and then also some coarse kosher salt. And all you're gonna wanna do is just mix that in really good together. And this is so delicious. I love the savoriness of an everything bagel. And then, oh my gosh, with Sean and how he made that veggie cream cheese, that is gonna be delicious with this bagel. It really, really is. So just mix it in really good. And what I like to do is on the top, go ahead and do a little bit of an egg wash. And this just makes it brown up really nice. So now that I have that on there, I like to be generous with it. So you know what I like to do? I like to just put it right on in there. Have it on the top, and then what I also like to do, I mean, the best part of a bagel is the everything on it. So I like to put it on the bottom too. You know, why just keep all that yummy flavor for the top? So go ahead and dip it in there. I like to put a little on the bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that with the rest of these. All right, so it's done. It is finally at the final step. We put our egg wash on there. We put our seasoning on there. I have the oven set at 425 degrees. And I put the rack on the second to the top rack to make sure that it doesn't burn. I'm gonna put it in there for 20 minutes, and I'm telling you, they're gonna come out golden and beautiful and chewy. I cannot wait. We'll see you on the other side.
Okay, so Shaylin just killed it with these everything bagels. They are awesome. And this veggie cream cheese, what do you think about that?
It is delicious. HUD, thank you so much for introducing me to bagels. I have finally perfected it, and I'm so proud of this video.
Hey, watch us every week if you can. Subscribe, like, comment, and we'd love to bring you more stuff like this every week. So let's try it.
All right, you want me to try first?
Yeah, you go first. I think you're gonna make a mess.
I
hope
probably
you have enough. Oh my word. Yeah, you made a mess. You need a napkin? You got one? Okay, here we go.
That's it, babe. The chew is perfect. It is a New York style bagel. The seasoning on it, amazing. I feel it from the top and the bottom because we put those seeds on the bottom.
Man.
And that cream cheese, the perfect ratio of the veggies with the cream cheese. Good job, babe.
Good job. You did all the hard work.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good job for you. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.